In this video, I talk about the brand new theatrical Star Wars movie after so long called The Mandalorian and Grogu. To put it briefly, I actually didn't hate it. You'll find out why after the intro. After the Galactic Empire's collapse, Din Djarin and his young apprentice Grogu are hired by the New Republic. Their objective for their mission is to rescue Rada the Hutt in exchange for intel on a specific target. A few days ago, on Memorial Day, I saw The Mandalorian and Grogu at my local Cinemark theater in XD. I went in with low expectations considering not many people cared about Star Wars anymore, and surprisingly, I didn't hate it. Allow me to explain why I somehow enjoyed The Mandalorian and Grogu more than others. 1. When it comes to entertainment, this movie is far from the underwhelming bore fest that was the third season of The Mandalorian. Instead, it captures the engaging action and character dynamics that made the first two seasons of the original show well known. Sure, you could say it feels like an extended Disney Plus special, but it's a tolerable experience nonetheless. 2. The special effects look admittingly nice. I especially appreciate the diverse blend of techniques, including visual effects, puppetry, and animatronics for characters like Grogu. The stop motion animation used for the droid security force in the climatic battle at the Hutt Twins Palace was also a standout element. 3. The Mandalorian and Grogu themselves share a charismatic dynamic, just like in the first two seasons of the original show. However, Grogu nearly steals the spotlight as he figures out solutions on his own, like finding a cure for Mando's dragon snake bite and looking after him. Also, I thought Rada the Hutt was pretty cool. He carried this movie. Same thing for Zeb and Embo. 4. The music score by Ludwig Göransson sounds fantastic. Sure, it sounds the same as the TV show, but it stands out with fresh experimental touches in every track, like those electronic notes mixed into the Mandalorian theme in the opening credits. 5. As expected, the cinematography is pretty good. No matter what other aspects of any Star Wars movie might need improvement, you can always count on the cinematography to be on point. 6. This movie isn't all about the laughs, but it does sprinkle in some subtle humor here and there. You can definitely find a few funny moments, especially with Grogu. I still managed to get a good chuckle or two out of it. 7. The action scenes are definitely fun to watch, and there's a good dose of suspense in some of them. My favorite has to be when Din Djarin and Rada battle the monsters in the arena at Shikari. The way the aspect ratio shifts as the scene ramps up really adds to the moment. 8. The acting is pretty solid, including Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin, Steve Blum as Zeb, and Jeremy Allen White as Rada the Hutt. 9. Passable direction by Jon Favreau, who was also the developer of the original Mandalorian show and the director of the movie that kick-started the Marvel Cinematic Universe, known as Iron Man. And 10. This quote by the Mandalorian himself: "The old protect the young, then the young protect the old." What I appreciate about this quote is how it reflects the bond between the bounty hunter and the kid. Mando protects Grogu, but later, Grogu steps up to look after Mando. If that's not parallelism, then I honestly don't know what it is. Although the movie is solid, there are some flaws that might cause disturbances in the Force. First off, the story isn't anything groundbreaking. It obviously feels more like a long Disney Plus special. Also, while the effects are decent, the lighting in some scenes could be more cinematic for a big screen experience. Plus, characters like Ward and Janu Coin are pretty forgettable compared to the main duo. I don't hate these characters, but I just feel indifferent about them. Lastly, there's a plot hole. How did Grogu get out of the Anzellan ship to check on Mando, who's out cold in the jungle from that dragon snake bite? But yeah, these are the only criticisms I have for this movie. Overall, The Mandalorian and Grogu isn't perfect, and neither is the entire Star Wars franchise. Even the best Star Wars projects have their flaws. But for what it's worth, it is surprisingly entertaining. If anything, This movie feels more like a true third season of The Mandalorian than the actual one we got, at least in my opinion. This movie isn't entirely the way, but it's a good step forward for bringing Star Wars back to the big screen after nearly 7 years. In conclusion, this movie is enjoyable, but could next year's Star Wars Starfighter be bigger and better since it's a standalone project and has Ryan Gosling in it? I'm not sure, but only time will tell. I give The Mandalorian and Grogu an 8.2 out of 10. Thanks for watching my review on The Mandalorian and Grogu. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.